Hi. This is my second time doing this because the first time I tried to take a few shortcuts and record it right on the canvas and it didn't seem to work well. So we'll see how this works. Real quickly, I wanted to kind of wrap up the course and hopefully this will take significantly less than 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So I'm going to try to shoot for the 10-minute thing. Uh, this has been a crazy year, 2002. That's my understatement that can't be understated enough. Obviously, we all think about 2020 and COVID. I think a lot of other things really came in. I think the Black Lives Matter movement was present and has been a big influence. I think no one who ever watched Mr. Floyd die on screen can walk away from that without saying there's something wrong with the world that we need to make better. And I think we still are seeing positive effects from the Me Too movement. So all of these things kind of tie into basically what we're talking about in the course is how you deal with people. There's been a tremendous change and continues to be change, and maybe to some people it's not fast enough, to other people it may be too fast, but we have to change, and we all know that. My old saying, the only person that likes change is a baby with a wet diaper. But anyway, back in the 50s, you had a job, and nobody at the office, they wanted you, cared about you when you came in at 8 o'clock and when you left at 5 o'clock. What happened after, between 5 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock in the morning, nobody really cared about. You did your job, and if you didn't do your job, then they found somebody else to do your job. We found that that was not the most productive way of using our most important asset, which is people. Look at any operating statement for any organization, and you'll find that the 99% of the time, the single highest line item is staff salaries and benefits. So our highest cost operating asset is one that we have to treat in a different way. So we've studied in management, we studied in this course, we studied probably all through your undergraduate and graduate degree how we've evolved in how we treat our staff and why we treat our staff. We are addressing subjects now that people never even thought of before. So what we're talking about in this course is how we can work with people, motivate people, get great results out of people. And we're kind of saying that it takes more than just somebody up in front of the group going, Rick Rack-Ree, hit him in the knee. The whole idea of leading and motivating is not just cheerleading. And my pet peeve, buying everybody a T-shirt. I've never been motivated by a T-shirt, probably because I've never looked really great in a T-shirt. Obviously, if I had an Arnold Schwarzenegger body and I was putting on T-shirts, maybe I'd feel a little better about T-shirts. But But anyway, I often find that management thinks, and one of the problems always is in motivation is you think what motivates you, or you think worse yet, what you think will motivate the people without ever talking to people. And I think we've tried to learn in this course that some trappings of motivation really don't work. We talk about trust. We talk about sincerity. I think I mentioned early on that I think the questions people want to know is, can I trust you? Do you care about me? And will you do the right thing? And I think if they can answer all those questions in the affirmative, you're in a great position as a manager and a leader. I hope when you leave this course, you leave it with more questions and more uncertainties than when you came in. I hope we, in the length of this course, between lectures, notes, readings, and absolutely great work, and I can't stress this enough, among the class. There was just some tremendous interface in the discussion board, the best I've ever had. I have an expression, you tell that to all the girls. That was back when I was not a sensitive guy of the 2000s, but you promise everybody everything, and so every class is the best class. Every season of The Bachelor is the most dramatic season of The Bachelor yet. But this was without a doubt the best class that I've had since I've been teaching. So the questions. the look and the ideas that we talked about in class, none of them have snappy solutions. Um, I don't know if they study Greek and Roman civilizations anymore in school. Back when I went there and we had the slate with the chalkboard on it, we did, but not so much anymore. But we talked about Alexander the Great. You may know Alexander the Great from that stinky movie with Colin Farrell and Angelina Jolie. But Alexander the Great, one of the things that we read about was there was a thing called the Gordian knot, and it was a knot that was just intricately woven, and tied together, and you couldn't get it done. And the soothsayers and the prophets of the time said the person who can undo the Gordian knot will be the ruler of the world, is smart enough to be the ruler of the world. So everybody tried, everybody failed. Alexander comes in, takes a look at it. He's in the process of conquering the world. And he tries for about a second or two, and he says, the heck with this. And he pulls out his sword and whack, cuts the knot, falls apart, pieces all over the place. He's undone the Gordian knot. Would that life be so easy? Would that our Gordian knot problems that we have in our business and in our interpersonal relationships and our teams be so easy that you could just take out your sword, one swing, and solve the problem? So I think I want you to leave this course realizing that there's an awful lot of unsolved things, an awful lot of not easy answers. I always kind of say, and sitting in the classroom writing a paper or sitting in a classroom lecturing like I do, everything looks pretty simple. Okay, we just do this, we just do that. When you get out into the real world, maybe not so much. So leave the class a little more uncomfortable about your position and your role. We want you to understand and hopefully start to understand the myriad of impacts that go into getting a well-rounded team. And I think that, for me at least, that's always been an issue that I maybe in the cold, cruel light of day, I forget all these things. I'm getting so wrapped up in getting the job done that I forget to mobilize my assets to the best that I can. I've said this in lots of papers, and I think I've said it in a lecture, but it's one of my sayings that I go by in life. If you walk by something that's wrong and don't correct it, you've just reestablished and lowered your standards for yourself and for everybody who's watching. And I think as leaders and managers, we have to be very careful that we don't lower our standards, that we do take action. And I was really alarmed when we talked in this last chapter 7 DB, where we're talking about people and cell phones. And I'm thinking, how rude is that? So I've tried very hard in my life but you're talking to somebody, oh wait, I gotta get this cell phone call. What they're basically saying is, you're secondary. You're not very important. This cell phone call, whoever it's from, takes precedence. I always used to like to say, before the days of cell phones, have you ever stood in line at the airport and you're standing in line, you get right up to the counter and the phone rings and the person picks up the phone and the person on the other end of the phone is doing the same business that you wanted to do while you're standing there, but they're answering the person on the phone who didn't stand in line and you did. How customer servicey is that? So when you go around and look at things, look at them with a critical type view. How does it fall into this idea of motivation? How does it fall into this field of AI? And kind of make that your life. I really a big believer in servant leadership, and I did a lot of servant leadership in my last probably 5 or 6 years of working, and I thought it was a great concept. The other person you have to be critical of is yourself. There's two Mike Weirs. There's the Mike Weir that I think is probably the greatest, maybe not the greatest, but one of the greatest managers that ever lived. And why I didn't become the head of Mayo, Cleveland Clinic, and United Healthcare all at the same time, I just don't know. And then there's the other Mike Weir down here, and it's like I don't know how I even made it. I'm just a poor boy from Philadelphia, and so we have to be honest with who we are. We can't be downgrading ourselves all the time. But on the other hand, let's not break our arm patting ourselves on the back. Constant inspection of your job and how you're managing as a leader is key. And get the feedback. Don't be afraid to ask somebody. I worked at a practice one time where I owned this. I was in charge of a surgery center too, and I had a manager over there, and we used to do 360 evaluations, and he got slammed, rightly so. So I came in and we had a big talk about it and everything. And so about an hour and a half later, I happened to go over to the surgery center for something else, and there's the entire staff in the room, and here's this manager sitting up there. Who wrote this in their evaluation to me? And I'm thinking, well, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. You know, perception of people is reality to you, and keep important with that. Um, so I guess in closing, I said I don't want to take too long of your time. I really enjoyed the course. I thought it was great. I want you to leave not as comfortable as you were before, and knowing that there's lots of different pieces of the puzzle that you still have to put in place. Complacency is death. I mean, you could see. We used to say in the military, either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And you want to be a leader. You want to be out in front of it, and so you have to look and constantly learn and listen. We have two ears and one mouth. Listen twice as much as we talk. Listen and observe what's happening in the organization, and then make your plans to deal with those issues that are in the organization, not those issues that are in your head. And secondly, keep looking at yourself. How can I do better every day? It's been a real pleasure with you guys. If you just want to somebody to talk to, or you need a recommendation, or you just say, how would you handle this situation? Please give me a buzz. You have my MBU email address, and the phone number that I have. If you keep it, that's my personal phone, and I'm always answering it. Again, thanks a bunch. Have a good next semester for you guys that are down towards the end. Good luck in your careers, and it's been fun. Thanks very much.